Okay, so we're at part 3 of the Probleminator journaling training, and it's been a week since we started. We started with the hard part. The hard part is moving through the patterns that that are causing the imbalance patterns that are projecting out, as I like to call it, the illusion of a problem. So I emphasize the illusion of a problem because that might help you understand that illusions can dissipate once you come into who you are. And that's why the most important thing you can do is come into who you are. So and we were just talking before I turned on the recording about how, other people might not be doing the work like you're doing, but you'd be surprised that when you get aligned with who you are, how that doesn't matter. How when you're aligned with who you are, you align with what's right for you and it makes you happy, so it doesn't matter. So I know you've had a hard time, you've been releasing, and it's not always fun when you're releasing these things, but I think the last time we did talk about what you want, I believe, and I have to go back to the form in just a minute, and we're really at the place in this process of, let's see, where did we leave off? I'm looking at it. We talked about, we're at basically number 4 of 6 questions that we ask ourselves, and of course there's a lot of sub questions that go along with those questions. So it does, once you've stated what you want, and you did mention let's see, I didn't write everything down, but you had some thoughts about first what we were talking about as far as the letting go, being able to let go. And then, that was part of what we were working on. And then of course, being able to reconnect with Mark. So I'm going to share my screen and go back to the form. And we're going to be, we're here now. So we've gone through stating our desire, putting it in our mind, putting it out there in the quantum field, what we do want, so that it can, manifest. And the next step in having that manifest is affirming your desire, what you want. So we want to put that in the form of a I am statement, and in the form of a statement that is a combination of aligning with who you are, what you want, and being grateful for it. And also I like the statement, and so it is. So that completes the process. So if you were to come up with an I am statement that encompasses what you want, what would that be?
Now, is this related to Mark or just in general?
What we've talked about is kind of tying together, I think, as far as being able to let go, to be able to release all outside needs to fulfill you, but also, Mark as you see it, because when you make this I am statement, it's a statement of belief. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you really want to project that belief out. So you don't want to have if you don't believe you and Mark will be together, this will either help you establish that belief, establish that energy of belief in the quantum field, or it will help you realize more that, well, can this really happen? Do I really believe it? And maybe some other things need to be looked at.
I see. Yeah. I mean, I guess the nice thing is I already have the belief structures of the things that I want or that I'm creating. So I will so I'll kind of tie it all together the best that I can, and you can let me know if you have suggestions. So um, I am aligned with with my higher self and the highest version of myself, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And being internally fulfilled and connected to divinity, I let go of needing anything externally because I know that everything will be created from this balanced place of internal harmony. And um, I am now reconnected with Mark in the highest version of our selves, making for a beautiful new relationship in the physical world.
That's
How's that?
awesome.
I'm trying to like tie it all together, and I have a lot of thoughts coming in. So.
That was beautiful. That was perfect. I love that. I wish I could type faster and have it all typed out on the form, but you did a beautiful job of that. I just loved it. So I think that that definitely it establishes a place in the quantum field where that can become more and more real, more and more physical, more and more true as you let go and allow that to happen because you have established. Oh, and by the way, you want to add, and so it is.
And so it is.
Okay, so yes, and so it is. It is. And now it's just like I said, it is, it's there. And now you're just going to want to um, allow that to take place. And if there and to kind of segue into the next part of this, you want to consider where you need help in allowing that to happen. So we've talked about, we've worked on that being able to let go, but if there's still any place where you feel you need help in letting go, if there's any other way you need help, we want to ask the universe to help you, and the universe will help you when you ask for help, and the universe will provide answers when you need the answers, and that you just have to ask them or just ask for them. And then the next part will be noticing, which we talk about. So I break this down into different parts to help give you an idea of what you can ask for. Again, it's not always relevant to your situation, but it's a guide. It's a guide to help you. Oh yeah, I might need help with that. So you ask for that. So with what we've done so far in general, what do you feel you need help with?
Let's see here. I think I need help with detaching from. I know that Mark and I are reconnecting, and I also want to be in my own energy right now. And so, like, what had come up to me this morning was releasing Mark's energy from my field because I feel him so much in my field. It's distracting for me, and I really need help just getting all of his energy back to him and staying in my energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows me the freedom and the alignment that I am creating. And so that's what I need help with. I do have a session with someone that has done that process with me before this upcoming week. And so that was my plan, to have him help me with that. But I would like to pose it to the universe. If there's something that can be done sooner than that, I would be very open and grateful for that.
Right. And so you might just ask, so since what you want to do is to be strong in your own energy, or to be I don't know if detached, because you don't want to be detached. I know you don't want to be detached, but if you were to be feeling your own energy, you're asking it in a way that prompts the universe, or to prompt your higher self to show you. And in showing you, that happens. So if I were to feel my own energy and only my own energy and to be clear, or however you do it, what would that feel like? So when you ask, what would that feel like? Your higher self says, this is what it feels like. That's the way you ask. So because you want to ask those open-ended questions, because when you ask open-ended questions, the universe or higher self, whatever, God answers in the way to shows you, you know what I mean? So so it's something like that. If I were to feel in my own energy, um, how would you put it given that? Because you kind of went about and you said what you want to say, but if you were to put it in those under those guidelines, can you think of how you might?
Yeah, I think that what you said is accurate. I want to feel my own energy and solely my own energy in my field and radiate from that place. So please show me, guide me, lead me, show me the way to fully feel all of my own energy and only my own energy.
That's good. I like the way you use that word radiate. If I were to radiate from my own energy, what would that feel like? So that was perfect. So because obviously you're, like you said, you're feeling him. So it's almost like it squashes you. You're not radiating at all when
Yeah, it's
his
like,
energy is squashing you. So to say I radiate from my own energy
yeah,
is awesome.
exactly.
I like that word. So that's perfect for that, to go into, to just go over these other ways of looking at it. Your vibration. If you were to look at your vibration and where it's at, and if it's not where you want it to be, where would you want it to be? Of course, neutral is always great, right? But
Yeah.
if you needed help with your vibration, how would you ask for that? How would you ask in a way that puts you into that vibration right
Um,
right here?
so
Maybe it'd be like, if I were to feel the vibration of myself, of my true self, what would that feel like?
yeah, if I would, I guess we could go with radiate too, is if I could feel the radiance of my true self, of my with my own energy field, what would that feel like?
That's good. And that's similar to what we just said. But
Hmm.
when that's what we're looking for, we just, we're just looking for ways to state it in a way that actually makes it happen. Um, so I like it. Um, when I kind of want to go back, think back to what we saw as true you, and you might even be more specific, because I remember it being a strength. I remember you being the one to be strong and almost command what you wanted. Remember, it was like, you're here now. And that
Like
was
you're
you.
mine.
What?
It was like you're mine.
Yeah, you're mine. So if I were to feel the vibration of your mind, of the confidence of your mind, what would that feel like? Might be something a way that you asked it. And you can even say that to yourself right now. It's important, this vibration that is you. I know we've asked about true you, but to be even more specific, what does, if I were to radiate at the vibration of your mind in all cases, or I like the radiate at the confidence level of your mind in all cases, what would that feel like?
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing is it's nice because I already internally feel that way, like intuitively. So,
Because that is true you. So you
right.
sense that. true you somewhere in there. The you know, the anger and the sadness is, it's just release. You know what I mean?
True.
That's just stuff that's released. That's not true you. Those are largely ego. Right?
True.
So that's not you. So we want to connect with you. We want to remember who you are. We want to ask specifically for you to connect with that part of you. So, um, and we want to ask for guidance. I mean, that's kind of a general question. If I knew what, if I if I were to know what step to take next, if any, what would that feel like? If I were to trust that I am guided, what would that feel like? So you want to consider where where you don't feel guided, maybe, and ask to be guided. Is this relevant? Do you feel the guidance? I mean, it sounds like you know to go to different people for different things. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
I
guidance.
was gonna actually text Johnny, the person, to see if I could work with him sooner because I am really inspired to be in my own energy. I feel like that's really important for me. And I can do some clearing on my own, but it hasn't been as powerful as this ancient process that I've done with him, where it's like, then I'm really in my own energy. And so I think I'm going to text him to see if I can get in any sooner. That was what came to me, I guess, when I saw that question.
Oh, okay. So it kind of came up for you just considering.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Um, so then, you want to ask how your desire may manifest, or you may want to ask. I mean, sometimes the questions we've already asked are asking that. Um, but if not, we want to make sure we're prompting the universe to manifest, to bring into physical form that which we want. And how you do that. If I were to um, if it, if Mark were to respond positively to my energy of your mind, how would that happen? Something like that. Whatever feels right to you. That's just a thought.
How did that happen? Yeah, I mean, my strong sense of confidence energetically of he's mine allows Mark to reach out to me and claim that and claim that position that he's mine.
I like it. I like it. So it's almost as if asking the question put you in the frame of seeing it, and that works as well. So if I were to see, feel, hear, you know the power of your mind, how would
Mm.
that happen? Something like that. There's just all kinds of ways you can ask in your own way, but like I said, it's like using words in a magical way, because your words are magic. So put the words out there in a way that makes them respond. It makes the universe respond, because I guess that's why, witches use spells. I mean, these words have magic. Of course, we want them all in a way that's for we want to use them in a way that's in the highest and best good for all involved, right?
Right.
So I don't like the idea of like casting spells on anybody or anything like that, because that might be against their will. So you really want to be about you and the reaction, and you and and the power of you, and the power coming into the power of you is what it's all about. And Mark's in your life to help you find that power, if and that's what it's all about. It's not like you're forcing somebody, he's in your life for a reason to help you find that power. So it's not like you're going against his will. You're looking to step into your own power, or you wouldn't be in this situation to begin with.
Right.
So is there any other questions about how we ask, how we get help from the universe?
As far as like, if you truly are unclear, like obviously certain things came to me in this process as far as what I'm wanting to do, or like what is my next step. Simply like putting these questions out there. Oh, I guess that's the next part, noticing. I was just
Yeah.
wondering like what is the best way to tap into the higher self's answers of those questions if we're not getting a clear answer.
Uh-huh. There you go. That's what noticing is all about. That's why I always say you that's why the resistance log is kind of really short. And let me bring that up. If we can get into the habit of this, you know, notice your resistance. That could be anger, that could be trying to control something, that can be, whatever doesn't feel good. And you're trying to, feel that. For me, I've gotten so used to, okay, I'm resisting. It's either anger, it's like or fear, or it's something. You notice that. Then you let go, or with an intention, with a being curious about what this is, with a question as to what it is, something like that,
So
especially intention.
on this part, because this is one of the things, originally prompted us to want to do this, is the moving through of these things. And so can we just take a moment to like see how you go through where like, okay, so say for example, I'm noticing at work or anywhere that I'm getting agitated or irritable, like someone's not understanding something, or like they're just needing something of me. And it's just like, I am just so irritable that I don't want to deal with this. And I'm noticing the irritation within myself, but I don't like it. And so therefore, I notice I internally want to push away from that within myself, or push or
Okay.
disengage from myself. So how do I catch that right then and there?
Okay, so you feel that agitation, you feel like there's something you don't want to deal with, that's resistance, and ask yourself, why don't I want to deal with this? Do I feel like this is too hard? Do I feel like this is beneath me? Ask yourself. There's a clue into your own inner process, usually your own. It could be ego, it could be all of these things, but when you ask yourself, what is that? Then you get an answer that you can flip the switch. Like you said, I love the way you put it the last time, was what meaning am I putting into this? That's powerful, because you can
True.
put any meaning you want into it.
Right. And you can change that meaning at any time too. And that's the nice thing is
Yeah.
a
So
reframe,
that's a perfect way of looking at it. What meaning am I putting into this? Why, obviously I'm agitated, so I'm putting a meaning into it. And how can I put a meaning into it? Like you might say, oh, that's beneath me, or they're bothering me. And you could say, oh, I'm needed. I want to be needed. They're showing me I'm needed.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. Although I think you have to find something that you can, yeah, that resonates for you in the sense, like to me, when I feel needed, sometimes that's also an annoyance because I'm like, oh, people keep needing me.
But also you have to look at it like, well, I've been wanting to be needed, right? So there I am. That's what you notice. I've been wanting to be needed. Here I am being needed, and I'm complaining about it. I
Right.
think I better be grateful, right? It's kind of like that. Once you put yourself through this process, you pretty much go, okay. I don't know. Does it? I mean, even kind of throwing those ideas out there, do you feel any different about the agitation you get at work?
Yeah, because yeah, if I put myself in that situation now and like, so sometimes it is stuff I think most people get agitated about, like people sending 20 emails about a reference, and it's just like fighting each other in an email instead of realizing we're all on the same team. And it's just, to me, it's a waste of my time. And so I have a really big thing about time,
Yeah.
but yeah, if I look at it like, you know what, they are just trying to do their job. They're trying to get this done. they're stressed, and I'm giving it this meaning as like they're wasting my time. But if I look at it from another perspective or their perspective,
Uh-huh.
their job, and they need to get this reference done, and it is a big deal for them, so that they don't get on a red tape list and so that they don't get in trouble. And yes, it does feel like they're acting like we're on a different team, but how can I be the one to inspire that, hey, we're all working on this together, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
on it, and so I think what it's allowing me is
No, no, Gucci. No, 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 no. Sorry about that.
no worries. um, yeah, so I think what it is, it also can inspire in a person, including myself, is how can we be the person um, who cultivates or inspires or influences the higher energy always, the highest energy always wins, and how can we be that higher energy to bring other people up to help us all magnetize together instead of work against each other? Because as we know from this form, if I'm in that agitated state, I'm going to get more agitated
Yeah.
situations. I start to realize, oh, I'm agitated. This is the meaning that I'm giving it. This is what my self-talk filter is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, drop that for a second and look at it from all the perspectives of what is actually happening, like what's actually so right now. And then, okay, yeah, they're stressed. And how can I help them see that we're all on the same team? And then create that energy, and then, ask these questions and then get a completely new outcome. And that's some of the things that I've been noticing is when I stop for a second, stop fighting, resisting, or being the one who's annoyed and then sending another annoyed email,
Yeah.
then I
That's
can,
great. It's stopping the flow. When you resist,
it is.
it
It's,
talk about wasting time. Yeah, it's just like that resistance stops the flow more than anything. So, but I think what it sounds like waste of time. And you mentioned that you have a thing with that. That also might be something to explore, because why, maybe in a full form, but it's good to make a note of it now, and work to realize that's something to work on. But in the moment, turn it around, realizing it's an imbalanced pattern and it's projecting out, is probably having a lot less time than you think you do, just because you have that belief you're vibrating at. It's a waste of time. So how can I see this as beneficial
yes.
to me, time wise or whatever? How can I see this as however you might want to look at it? And then you start to notice, how does your day change as a result of, you notice that you have a time issue, and you ask the question that helps you, because it's, yeah, they're people and working together and all that, but you want to change your perception of time, because it's your perception of time that may have created this in the first place.
Mm.
And so you want to look at, how can I, you might ask yourself, how can I feel like there's enough time in the day? So you've recognized that you feel like this is a waste of time, and you want to know, you set intention for feeling like there's enough time, or asking, how can I feel like there's enough time to do all of this? And then you notice, and you make notes of how maybe you got through the day like an hour before the day. You got everything done, and there's an hour left in the day. Those are things that you might notice. So does that make sense?
Yeah. So the intention question, curious about, part of it though, is that typically about whatever we're resisting? We're going to ask the question of, oh, like, why do I feel irritable right now? What's that about?
Yeah,
Or is that
that's
okay?
one thing. That's one thing. Or it's just, it mostly is. You're gonna find this is most effective if you look at your own energy in it and how it created it, and then change your own energy. But you can use this for all sorts of things. You know what I mean? There can be, oh, this person's, in relationships, it's easy to get scared when, oh, say he's talking to a pretty girl, or so, something like that. You can you can want to go over there. For me in the past, I used to be a very jealous person. Go over there and control that situation. Don't you talk to that pretty girl, but when I catch myself in the resistance of it and then go, whatever happens is supposed to happen. You know what I mean? And it's all going to end up good. And then you can let go. So let go of the control factor when a lot of times resistance is a control factor. So when you catch yourself in that resistance and that control factor and let go, setting intention for, again, what you want to happen. If you felt insecure, to feel, how can I feel more secure and be able to let go, might be something that you ask. But again, we're looking for those things to get you back in a good feeling state, in a good being okay with who you are kind of feeling state.
Okay, so just to recap, one question to really look inside the energy pattern that's happening right now, to get curious about that and observe that. And then the next thing we want to do is really get clear on how we can shift that and how we can let that go, with setting that intention of what we actually want to call in and move the energy to.
Yeah.
So that we can then create a new reality, even within that experience. And I think one thing to highlight, maybe you can speak to this, is how quickly we can change our energy and change the external world by changing our internal. Like, I think sometimes I can get discouraged, like, say with a relationship thing, if it's a certain way what right now, like, to me it seems like, oh well, sometimes it seems like it's going to take a long time to shift the energy to get a different outcome, because I don't know, like, of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But maybe you can share that actually, like, these things can happen in an instant.
And they can, and it's like I said, it can take a long time if you're resisting a lot of things, if you're not allowing the flow, because resistance stops the flow, intention moves the flow, and noticing moves it even more. So when, so often what you resist has to happen to move you in the direction of that flow, to move you in the direction of your intention. So if we can just go, oh, wait, that's supposed to happen, and stop controlling it, then you'll know either what to do or how to handle it, how to be you in the situation. That makes it flow even more. It really takes a lot of practice. That's why, I say do this form.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Have it up on your computer, have it up on your phone, have it, because you want to, the more you can catch yourself in the resistance, the more it's going to become second nature. And the more you're going to flip those switches to the right direction on the fly.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that is important to keep it like on my phone, and maybe I'll just print it and keep it with me, like, for a full day. Like, my family's in town, right? There's definitely stuff that's going to come up. So, yeah, like keeping it on me, and then just, it takes a few seconds, and I can do that in my own head while I'm wherever I am.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because if we get to this place where we're just noticing, noticing, setting intention, noticing, setting the intention, man, your life is just flowing in the right direction. There might be stuff that feels like you need to resist it because you don't like what has to happen in order to move you toward what you want. But if you're going toward what you want, forget about this stuff. It doesn't matter. And move toward what you want.
Yeah. And I mean, even asking the question constantly of how can I let this go, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I do find that there are days there's a lot of resistances that come up. And so I know you spoke of, like, getting to a place where you don't have a lot of resistance is really the end goal.
Right. Just going with the flow of life.
Yeah.
Setting intention and seeing how powerful you are. I feel like I finally have gotten that way, because I'm kind of like cool with everything. There's nothing I'm resisting. Everything's wonderful. And it's like almost like, and the universe is giving me all these 11s, which is like making a wish and setting intention. And like, but what do I want? I'm just so happy. I'm just so content. What do I even want? But with those little clues from the universe, then I'll just practice. And like, I haven't seen any little tree frogs in a while. I'm a total nature person. Everything's going to be about animals. You know what I mean? any tree frogs in a while? How about I see a tree frog? Next morning, there's a tree frog on my window. And plus in the fountain, things like that. You know what I mean? They're just there. They just happen.
Totally. That's awesome. Yeah. And like the more clear, like in alignment you are, I think the quicker things manifest too. So that makes sense. So in your experience, did that also require you to do like did you have days where you had, like 15 resistances and you noticed that over time it got less and less and less kind of
Oh,
thing?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It becomes second nature, just like anything else. We are so in the habit of resisting what doesn't feel good, what doesn't like, by not wanting to feel good. And I know you've had this, you haven't wanted to feel those things. Nobody does. Nobody does. But when you can get brave about them and realize that when you put your energy on them and you face them, those things that you're scared of, they back down. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
way I like to look at it, is put my energy in. And it becomes, like you said, with the form, it becomes fun to do, to want to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we need to
Yeah.
do this in this day and age, and there's stuff going on in the world that's not good. That's not good. There's a very evil faction of society wants to make this a communist country. That's why you can't be afraid of what's out there. You have to face it. You have to face it, because your energy in facing it and saying no will cause that energy to back down. So many people need to do this in the world today. They've got to do it so that we get through this. Um, I'm going to continue. The last part is really easy.
Okay.
Uh, okay. So yeah. So then it's just about noticing. Noticing. There's all kinds of things when you're noticing. Like I was just saying, I noticed that. What was I just saying? I was saying something that I noticed, that the 11s I noticed, before this started, I noticed that I was guided to watch certain movies, and that was giving me information. So you're going to get there's all kinds of things you can notice. And when you're noticing, you're going to, writing them down and kind of thanking the universe for giving you these answers makes them happen even more. So you notice whatever you notice. That might not be related to these, but is there anything that you noticed even just going through this process besides Sunday just went off on a total tangent? A rant.
Well, so if I do see like 11, 11 all the time and 5, 5, 5 and 2, 2, 2 and all that, what does that mean?
Well, that falls into the synchronicity category. That means things are lining up.
Okay.
There actually are messages in those numbers, because if you look either at numerology, or I like to use this site called Sacred Scribes, something or another. Let me bring that up if I have it up, because I do, because some numbers you'll see that aren't 222 or 1111, it'll be a specific number that Sacred Scribes, angel numbers, Joanne, Sacred Scribes, Sacred Scribes angel numbers.blogspot.com is where I go to find out the meaning of those numbers. So that's
would you mind sharing or sending me that link sometime?
sure, no problem.
Cool, thank you, because it looks like a good one.
Yeah, use it all the time. So there'll be the
I want to
numbers.
start learning what the numbers, like what are the signs of if that's how the universe wants to communicate with me is via numbers, then like what does that mean? Or
Yeah,
maybe looking that up as they come.
repeating numbers generally just shows synchronicity, although like I said, 11s I know mean you're manifesting, or you're manifesting what you think, watch what you think, or something like that. So but they all have different meanings. So when you see, like if you see a random number, 651 is one that I've seen that's kind of random. So but I see it a lot. So I look it up, what it means. But generally 222s and 333s, if you see a lot of numbers that have this frequency, then that means things are lining up. So it's it's good. It's good to see that. Plus they have meaning in themselves. So you might have insights that you want to write down. You might be guided. You've asked for guidance, so write down what you see as guidance. And the release. I think that if you're noticing the release, it's a good idea to journal about the release. Then you release the fact that you're releasing, and you're not liking it. So it's always good to write these things down. And there'll probably be other things that you notice as well.
Yeah, I feel like for me, well, for one, I think one of my guidance is that it's pay attention, not just to the numbers, but what are the signs that the universe is communicating to you. And you bring up a good point to thank the universe, because I do pray a lot, or I write to God, like a message to God or the universe as to the support that I'm seeking. And it is important to always thank when we do get what we ask for. I think sometimes we can forget that part.
Yeah.
And then, like with the release, I think sometimes it can be uncomfortable, right? Because it's like, well, shoot, I'm like doing the work here, and like I want to be feeling better, and I'm feeling worse. But knowing that it's temporary, and I do believe with this process, it taught me how powerful getting things out on paper can be, like how
Yeah.
much that the energy and like free the space. So
Just having the mindset of noticing the release, the bad feelings as a release, is a relief.
it is. It is. And then they shift, because that's the thing. Like yesterday, I was so down. I was like sad. I was crying. And
if you could just switch that spot in your brain and go, oh, I'm releasing.
Right, exactly. That's what I was kind of just thinking. And then also you wake up in the morning after you process that out, and you're in a completely different space. So, and I guess to this form, and one other thing that I'd like to, I guess, highlight and maybe speak to with you is that sometimes it can be quick and sometimes it takes longer. Like with this whole letting go process for me and the situation with Mark, the energy like I can always feel the energy between us, and it's taken a lot longer this time for it to circulate back to neutrality and that ease of grace. Like it's been, like I said, a long time of anger, then sadness, then neutrality or whatever. And so I guess
what you asked for in this form about being able to let go is huge. It's really, I mean, I know you. Look at all the different people you're going to. You have a hard time with it. So it's going to take a little bit longer, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you realize that when this heals, you're in superpower, man. You're in superpower. So you got to look at it like being able to let go is so huge, and the fact that you're holding on, it is so huge and such a big part of you that when you let go of the not being able to let go, wow, I mean, everything changes. Everything changes. It's going to be amazing. So if you can look at it like that, okay, it's a tough one. It's inherent. That was the initial thing that we worked on. Yeah, it's tied in with Mark, but we're looking at the core issue here, because if you're still holding on, he hasn't had his chance to go out and to go and really have the space to think, because you're feeling his energy, he's feeling your energy. You're not having that ability to have your space, each of your spaces that you need, so that you can then miss each other and that kind of stuff to come back together.
Right.
So you'll learn, you'll see. And if you're noticing, oh yeah, I noticed that, then it'll go quicker. But it's going to be this is probably going to be one of the hardest things you work on, because it is so huge and it is so key and it is so powerful to be able to grab, to really step into that end result. of healing that and taking on your power of that, your mind, it's mine, because it comes down to that. Whereas it's different, you don't have to hold on when you know it's yours, right?
Right. That's a good point. I mean, but as you said, I think holding on tight is such a huge, it's like I said, it's not just Mark, it's everything,
Yeah, that's why that's taken longer.
Okay. That makes sense to me because I was just like, man, I've done some things where I've just moved through them like boom. And this one I'm just like,
Yeah,
man, it's gonna take me a full month on this. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. It could be tomorrow because I feel like each day I'm getting into a better space. But
yeah,
yeah, I guess just being patient with the process is part of it and continuing to notice all the resistances that come up with one release, with one form. There's
yeah,
there's a ton tied into letting go. It's not just letting go, it's all of the other things that surround control, you know?
yeah, exactly. Control is a good way to put it. Because when you're not letting go, you are trying to control. And when you're trying to control, you don't have that flow. So when you can just, and it's just so deep because you didn't at first want to face your feelings. This means you have to face the feelings or the fear and what you're letting go of. And when you do, I mean, you know that you're okay. It requires trust that you're okay no matter what, you know.
Right.
So
Right. That's the thing is, yeah, it is okay. Everything's okay. It's like, it's a feeling, right? And feelings are meant to be felt. And so
yeah.
when you have a feeling come up though, and it's uncomfortable. And I think this is the part that I was kind of curious about with the moving through it, because I know when we have done sessions, like you'll actually experience something moving through you, and you can sometimes just feel that in your physical body, right? Like
Mhm.
feel it, but like you feel it move in and out.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was like, how do I adapt that version for myself, even though it might look different for me? And so, I think I had messaged you the other day when irritability was coming up, and like it had come up with work and just other things, maybe with the healer, who knows. But like when I went to just feel that, it was like, gross, like I was just feeling it kind of vibrate inside of me and the images about it. But then I could move to the other side of it and felt better. But then why does it keep coming up? That's, I guess, my question. What if something keeps coming up?
Yeah. It's there's a core reason for it. And if it keeps coming up, you may need to, in this, in the resistance form, like I said, your waste of time was part of it. You're agitated and you recognize your agitation, and you might ask yourself, how can I not be agitated, or how can I feel better? But you can also ask yourself, what is the core reason I'm being agitated? And you go back to realizing you feeling like your time is wasted. Then you want to set intention for, how can I feel like I have enough time? And then when you feel like you have enough time, you do have enough time, and then you can notice, I had enough time.
Maybe the time thing is really the root of my issues.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe you need to do a form on that, a full form on that. but
I think
but
so.
I would say, just see if you can notice, or just ask the question, how can I feel like I have enough time? Or then your higher self goes, this is how it feels. You feel like it. You, and it can be so subtle that you don't realize that you ever felt that to begin with. But then if it comes up again, then okay, you need a form. But so first ask yourself the question, how can I feel like I have enough time? If you just can't get to that place of feeling like you have enough time, then do the form on the core reasons for that, because there's going to be, um, that's been a biggie for me too. And I think it has more to do with like getting to this point and being ready, because I always knew there was going to be something that came up in this world that I was going to need to be ready for. And here we are.
Well, at least now you're, in a really good place to be ready for it and balanced and, like in alignment. So I think that makes anything manageable. Now, are you also doing this form for shadow? Like if you're noticing qualities in other people that bother you and you're noticing that you have a response to that or you're getting triggered, is this
Oh,
form
absolutely.
for all of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. Because our relationships are our teachers. You know what I mean? They're definitely showing a side of us that needs to be healed. So absolutely, it's huge.
Okay.
But so yeah, if we can get in a habit of this, you'll get in a habit of this, noticing your resistance, and then it'll just start to happen automatically where you're able to shift it. But you really got to, I would say, like I said, I have this 1 through 10. If you do it, one of these, make it a goal for every day to catch yourself in 10 resistances. Then it will start to be, what did they say, 21 days? So do it, tell yourself to do it for 21 days. And then pretty soon, probably by the end of that 21 days, there's less of these to even things that you're resisting, and more of, like I say, don't just notice your resistance. I say notice what you notice that's different, and put that over here. Like I'll put my numbers over here. I saw, I like to put the date and time. I saw 444 just now, or I saw 444 44 times today, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I like to. It's good to be in that habit as well of noticing the good stuff, noticing the synchronicities, of noticing your guidance, noticing, all those sort of things. So
Yeah, I think that will probably be a better goal for me than doing one form a day, just because, like you said, when you're doing a form a day and you're releasing that much, like it can make a person irritable or cranky because you're constantly releasing.
yeah, it's almost like it might be just do a form until you've gotten past that issue you did the form on. You know what I mean? Like if it's with Mark, just don't do a form on anything else until you're past the Mark thing.
Mm. So keep doing the form and all the things that keep, like, so say you get through the anger, but then you have the pain and the hurt and then just the feeling wrong. So just keep doing a form on all the different things that keep
Do
coming up.
just this part. Just this, because you'll have done a form and then stuff will come up that you're resisting, like you're resisting the anger. So I'm like, I'm having anger and I'm resisting the anger. Why am I resisting it? Oh, I forgot. And this is almost like a reminder, just let it go. Okay, what if I just let it go? Oh yeah, that was the whole goal to begin with.
Gotcha. Okay, so you mean do a resistance form log to
Yeah,
follow up from the big form
right.
until that issue is resolved. And then from there, you might discover, like for me, waste of time keeps coming up. So I need to do a form on that.
Yeah,
But that might be related. Actually, that is probably related to the Mark thing too, because I think there needs to be a certain time that this happens within.
yeah. It's, even though you're not quite through the Mark thing, sometimes it does make sense to go with another form because of the waste of time. If this doesn't do it, and going, what if I felt like I have the most time? You'd be surprised how much that one little question can shift things. Just the question, the intention, to feel like you have enough time.
Yeah, and like you said, so if you can't get to that place
Then
of the energy that you have enough time through this form, then you need to do a full form.
yeah,
Okay. And I think I need to do a full form on waste of time because that's one of my biggest root issues in general. Like I'm always racing, like, hurry up, let's go. Can you move faster? Like everything is like, are we there yet? Like, are we done? Like, let's get to the goal, which obviously in a way has helped me with a lot of ambitions, but not it takes away from the journey, when you're always so like
yeah,
intense. But some of it, I'm like also wondering like what's someone's personality, what I mean?
yeah,
Like sometimes I'm like, I just move fast. Like,
yeah, yeah. And it's okay to move fast. It's just not okay to feel like you don't have enough time.
I see. It's about the feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can feel. What if you just felt efficient? As long as you felt efficient you know, without hating somebody else because they're not.
That's the other part, is accepting other people for their time frames and
Yeah,
their pace. because I think that was one of the things that came up on one of our trainings is just
It's
like wanting
meant
other
to help
people
you
to be
step
like
into
us.
it's
you
meant to
know?
help you be more self-efficient. People can't match you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's all like leading back to that lesson is you can do a lot more on your own than you think.
Yeah, and that's what I like
You
about the
wouldn't have even
Kundalini.
found my form if that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? Because my form really does help you move into yourself.
It does, and it like, and that's also like Kundalini yoga. That's me, myself, and divinity. Like because although I'm finishing up with the healer and I'm actually going to be done with the coaching, like, and done with the professional or the personal development program, like I really want to go into myself and like not rely on so many other people. I think there's a time and a place, like certain
Yeah.
things you get stuck with, but I'm finally like my soul's finally calling to like just go inside and use my own resources. And that's what that Kundalini is lining me up with as well. And the form, I can do this on my own,
Yeah.
like I don't have to keep having different people helping me. And we talked about that because that's really empowering too. And you can use your own efficiency because if I want to move through something now quickly, I can do it.
Yeah. You just need to work on that time thing because things are lining up for you. I mean, look how things fall into place. I'm not one to think about Kundalini, but yet I said it for you. Check into
Yeah.
Kundalini.
And it was
So
great confirmation because the weekend before I looked up Kundalini yoga. So I was like, whoa, this is cool.
lining up, things are lining up. That's something to notice. Put on your forms that you notice. The universe likes it when you notice. It gives you more things to notice. And you get it more. And it's a lot more fun to be noticing how things line up than resisting those things.
Yeah. Well, that Kundalini yoga, which I'm kind of inspired because I also think, like you already have the psychic development, but like it's helping me be more psychic already.
Yeah.
Yay.
Coming into true you, and we all have it. We just have to find it. You want to make sure that you're finding healers that want to help you step into your power, that aren't saying you need, 1,000 sessions from me to, those are the ones you really have to worry about.
Agree. Totally
So,
agree. Yeah. Like making that you reliant on them versus empowering you to do it on your own. And
yeah.
yeah, so that's exactly right. And that's honestly like this between this and Kundalini, that's showing me like I got this, but it's practice. It's
Yeah.
doing it and keep looking at those resistances. So that's a great reminder. I'm going to print that log and carry it with me. I'm going to print a lot of copies of the log and carry it with me.
You might want to make some more spaces in between if you're going to write in it. Yeah.
I agree because I know sometimes it is helpful to like, really get in there with the writing is so healing. I just had no idea.
Yeah, it's a release. It helps you release. Yeah.
So healing. So yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for being my teacher in so many ways and being available for this training. And now I have some work to do and doing some editing and things like that. But I so appreciate you and your willingness to be part of this process.
Absolutely. Thank you for facilitating. It was amazing.
Well, let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. Sounds
Okay.
great. All right. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.